What's up, you guys? I wanted to take a minute to show you what I have been working on lately, and that is this amazing geode, and I'm going to show you all how I did the full process in today's video. Sorry I'm not live. I have been playing catch up after, things. Anyways, so stay tuned to see how I did this piece from start to this point. I think I'm going to add another layer, but I will film that should I decide to do that. We'll see. So the first thing I did was get my palette knives out and some modeling paste. I'm using this coarse modeling paste from Golden to help build up some dimension and depth for the rock edge that I'm doing on my cradle board. Cradle board I had custom cut. Let me know if you're interested. I can add them to the shop. But what I'm doing is just building a round over edge that'll look like a rock edge or a live edge. You can use things like Bondo or like a joint compound, things like that. I just didn't have any, and I didn't want to do Bondo inside because it has a really noxious smell. It's not fun, but it is effective. It works a lot quicker to build up a rock edge, but I didn't want to do it inside. So I'm using a modeling paste. This one happens to be from Golden, and it is a coarse, thick ground, and that just helps create a bigger lift. And the idea was I wanted to have a round over edge that was rock textured with a smoother top that had kind of a lip so that my resin didn't run over my rock edge that I'm going to roll over onto the surface of my geode or geoid, however you say it. But yeah, so because I'm using modeling paste instead of things that can have a thicker application, it's taking me a few layers, and each layer I'm adding different textures, different kind of sweeping motions, because you never know once you go to sand it back down what's actually going to show. And then before my modeling paste dried on the surface of my geode, I decided I wanted to have little keyhole geodes, so I am carving something like that out. I don't know why it looks like a Star Wars emblem, but at some point it looked like a rabbit, some point it looked like a heart, some parts it looked like a goat, but the idea is there. It's the thought, right? Sometimes it's the thought that counts, ? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, so I cut out my keyhole and then I smoothed it and I pushed up my edges and it looks good. So I added a couple of them. And then after that layer dried, I decided to smooth out the top because my rollover edge kind of was a lip higher than my surface, and I wanted it to kind of be smooth up to the edge. So I am adding more of the everything. And then I decided I want to change the flow of the rock that's on the surface of the piece. So I wanted some kind of protruding areas into my geode that were going to be rock. And so I am adding that now. After that layer dried a little bit, I went through and did a smooth over again, just like last time. And it turned out pretty good, but I still wasn't happy with my round over edge. So I added more layers, still wasn't thick enough. So I added more layers. If you have an outside, just use Bondo. It'll save you time. Just know that it will. But anyways, this will work too. It just takes a little bit longer. So after every layer, I'm adding a different kind of swoosh, different kind of texture, so that, like I said before, when I go back through and sand it down, it has some interest, some intrigue. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, while I was drying for the last time or somewhere around there, I decided to start adding my druzy area, my crystal kind of protruding bits. For this, I'm using my 1-inch shards from artisttilldeath.com. They are clear, beautiful, irregular cut pieces, and they're regular all the way around, so they look like they're just shards of crystal, and they're quite large. So it's going really well for this piece in particular. And I was using hot glue just to bond them on. And while that was setting, I decided to mix my resin. I'm using Stone Coat Countertops Art Coat and my Istoyo stand mixer to help me mix it without making my forearm sore. Just make sure if you use an electric mixer that you go through with a stir stick or popsicle stick or whatever you use, paint mixing stick. I'm using my stir sticks from artisttilldeath.com because they're reusable. But if you don't scrape the sides and the bottom of the cup and your stir stick, you'll end up with weak points and you'll regret it. So don't do that. Once you have your resin mixed all the way, start mixing in your colors. I am using Interference Oyster from Resin Art, Color Passions, Pearl Shimmer, Just Resins, Titanium, White, and MTN Liquid Gold. And then I also made a translucent white with just a little bit of the titanium and just more resin. So I always start with the metallic that I'm using on the inside edge, and then I kind of go outward. I pour a band, and I try to keep the bands kind of different thicknesses because I think that's more natural. And I pour it and then push the resin to create the shape and to meet it with the previous band of color. That's so I don't have too much resin on the surface, because if you have too much, it will run off. Resin likes to pour out typically at, say, a 1/4 inch, and it will self-level to an 1/8 inch. If you're not careful, you'll just lose all of your design. So I did that all the way back to the back edge, keeping in mind the shape, and I always peek outward, so the dip will be on the inside and then the peak will be on the outside. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, just comment down below. I had to turn it around because my surface wasn't level. I didn't check it before it started, and it was kind of shifting to one direction, so I had to turn it so it would kind of shift it back. I'm adding some heat because I had to pop the bubbles, but you don't want to add too much because then your design will shift. And then after I did this, I decided I wanted to add some thinner lines of resin. And so I'm going in and adding lines of white, the opaque white, and then I went through and filled in my little keyhole geodes and decided I needed more gold, so I'm adding more lines of gold. I think when you do this, you just need to make sure that it's not too busy. So I don't want to add too many lines of any color. I don't want to add too many lines of anything so that it's just not going to overload the eye. I still think I want to add another layer. I was out of glitter glass, so I'm going to add that in on the second layer, but I really like how my rock edge turned out, and I'm super pumped with how everything's going so far. Is there something that you would change? Let me know down in the comments what you think, and I look forward to hear it. Also, this is Canvas being taunted by a squirrel. See, it comes down. She does this every day with her. Also, stay tuned after this clip. She doesn't hear the gate open that another puppy's coming in right now. She's so intense. So this is Canvas's squirrel friend that she sees every day. But anyways, about the thing I forgot to tell you guys in the main part of this video, I found some content for the piece that I thought was lost, but it's not. So here it is. After the modeling paste was mostly dry, I started dabbing in watercolors to create some depth to it. I should have waited longer, but I was impatient. And then since it was hard on the outside, soft on the inside, I decided to pounce it a little bit with a textured sponge, sea sponge. I don't know, words are hard. Anyways, that made some white breakthrough, so I decided to dab or pounce in some siennas, some umbers, some black, some coppers, bronze, and gold watercolors. And I think the end result looked really good. I also went back in and pounced it or whatever with the sea sponge, and then I antiqued it or dry brushed it with the metallic gold and bronze after that. And this is ultimately what it looked like. This is the piece cured on the edge. I realized I didn't show you that in the last bit, but I think the top looks amazing and the side looks fun. I just wanted to not make it look like melted chocolate, if you know what I mean. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you want to see next time. Bye again. I said bye.